with Jay Hill. We're going to get to it all right. Talking today about something that's been bubbling under the surface in Alberta for a long time. Western alienation. The possibility, the conversation, the guessing and wondering about whether or not Alberta should be independent, Jay.
That's right. Well, I think that there's a long list of grievances that we in Western Canada, and I would expand it, not just Albertans.
Yeah.
I'm from the northern British Columbia up in the BC Peace region, and I can tell you it's been up there for a long time too. It ebbs and flows with government policy, largely set in Ottawa and often made for what I call the Middle East of Canada, right? You don't want to talk about the Easterners being the Maritimes, but for Quebec and Ontario, the Middle East of Canada, obviously they set policy that, causes some problems and some cost to Western Canada.
Well, this Western alienation idea, the idea that the rest of the country, A, doesn't understand us, and B, doesn't care to, and C, loves all the oil we pump, that's been going on for quite some time. But you're right about this ebb and flow. Right now, we've got a federal government that has extended the equalization program without debate, with just unannounced 5 years of Alberta giving $20 billion a year to the rest of the country, primarily Quebec. Yeah. So that's been going on. Suddenly, we've got this going on. And so I sense that this is a real thing. And we're getting people who are writing columns bashing it. So, okay. Well, they're taking time to bash it.
Yeah.
So it is a real thing. Jason Kennedy the other day talked about it, and he's kind of said, we're doing everything right here in Alberta. Like, we really are. But we can't get traction.
Well, what he said, and I think that most Albertans understand, it's just the rest of the nation seems to have a trouble understanding it, is and just using the energy industry as an example. I mean, we have the highest standards in the world when it comes to protecting the environment, when it comes to human rights issues, when it comes to labor issues. I mean, we are the shining example for the world, and yet we can't seem to do enough. And then this whole concept that, well, if we impose a carbon tax on ourselves, thank you, Premier Notley, that somehow that will buy social license. Everybody, including those on the other side of the Rocky Mountains, will allow us to get our product to market. Well, it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense.
And social license, buying social license, the whole concept is just so fuzzy, it just doesn't exist. But a lot of people will compare this to Quebec. And we know Quebec has always been agitating at a referendum, obviously, and they almost got their way. But this is different. This is not religious based. It's not cultural based. It's not language. It's not language based. This is economic.
That's right.
Is what is at the basis of this alienation, this concern that the rest of the country just keeps tamping us down. And I think it's out there too. I don't think Albertans are really ready for it. I don't think so, Jay. But maybe well, Jason Kennedy's talked about finding out.
Yeah. Yes, he has. He said, if we can't get market access for Canada's largest export, our oil, then I would be prepared to hold a referendum on equalization.
Boy, that would be something.
And that's what Jason Kennedy is advocating. And I think that almost all Albertans would agree with that approach. I have said, that we should somehow find a way to tie the Energy East pipeline to get our home oil, like a Canadian oil, to the market over in Quebec and the Maritimes, that we should tie that to equalization. If we're going to continue to send Quebec $12 billion or almost $12 billion a year, thank you very much, then they should allow us to get our oil to market.
Okay, that's obviously, as you know, not how that system works. It is pretty arbitrary on the part of the sitting government how this money is going to be doled out.
That's right.
But
there should be some quid pro quo. That's the point.
Well, there should be, and we're talking about the idea of spreading the money around so all provinces are somewhat equal. That's the idea. Mm-hmm. But the bulk of the money going into the fund is coming out of Alberta. Yet we have no say in where it goes. We have no way to know if the money's being used for, something we might be proud of.
Yes.
So, but there is, I think, this rumbling going on, Jay, about where's Alberta going?
Well, and there's a lot more. I think there has been countless examples of regional unfairness down through history. And as I say, it ebbs and flows according to what government is in power. Whether it's the equalization formula, whether it's the federal carbon tax that Trudeau has said that he intends to impose upon the country. You know, and I've always believed that the one thing that's really been lacking in the promotion of a potential Western independence is the leadership issue. If someone like Brad Wall would come forward, I think that you would see a real groundswell of support for this.
Well, it's going to be a very, very long debate and very difficult to do, but a lot of people want to do it.
It's been going on for 100 and some years now, so
all right, well,
it'll go along past us.
Jay Hill, thanks, Jay. Hey, thanks very much for watching the Dave and Jay Show on YouTube. If you want to help us out and subscribe, hitting the button below, and we'll see you next time.
Well, I thought that would be